I thank the Chair of the UNITAID Executive Board. In accordance with General Assembly Resolution 77-274, I now give the floor to Ms. Handa Enk Amgalan, tuberculosis survivor and author of the book Stigmatized, a Mongolian girl's journey from stigma and illness to empowerment.
Do not tell anyone. These were the words of my doctor who diagnosed me with tuberculosis. And 12 years later, I'm here today to tell everyone my story from this UN stage and urge world leaders to destigmatize tuberculosis. Because stigma costs life. My name is Handa Enk Amgalan, and I am from Mongolia. Tuberculosis remains highly stigmatized in many developing countries where the illness is most prevalent, forcing hundreds and thousands of people to hide their illness and delay seeking help, which results in loss of valuable time for early diagnosis or preventing their treatment altogether. Sadly, consequences of self and social stigma are more enhanced for young women and girls who are held to higher standards of health, well-being, and beauty in patriarchal societies globally. When society says things like, she is too skinny because she has TB, she is unworthy of marriage because she has or had TB, or she continues to have TB because she is irresponsible, we as a society are bullying TB patients one step closer to death, a death that is fully preventable. And this has to stop. This is why I'm here today to ask world leaders to treat TB not only medically, but also socially by tackling its attached stigma, thereby removing one of the biggest barriers to medical assessment. Stigma is putting the medical progress we are making globally behind. Because if TB patients are too ashamed to admit to being ill with TB, or if they are too afraid to be seen outside TB clinics by their employers or by their classmates due to fear of losing employment or being ostracized in schools, stigma is going to continue to drive patients away. A major reason why TB is still killing someone every 22 seconds as we speak. We need targeted support on workplace protection, mental health, public awareness, women and girls empowerment, and accountability to affected populations to reduce TB stigma. Unfortunately, TB stigma still exists to this day. 10 years after recovering from tuberculosis, I decided to share my story. Through my book, Stigmatized, to be the voice for others and break silence. And my mother said, don't do it. This is not because she doesn't love me or she doesn't feel proud of me. This is because she wanted to protect me. And this is the magnitude of TB stigma that is still here today. I still decided to publish my book despite her concern, because I could no longer be silent knowing that stigma is stripping millions of TB patients, including little girls, of their dignity. And the worst part is, they are internalizing these voices into self-stigma, truly believing that they are somehow inferior just because they had tuberculosis. This stigma is even worse in extra vulnerable and marginalized communities, including refugee settlements. In my current work supporting refugees in East Africa, I witnessed the same stigma among youth struggling with tuberculosis. And for them, the stigma, it's double stigma. Stigma of being a refugee and stigma for having tuberculosis. This is madness. This is real madness. And this has to stop. And I really hope it starts from right here and right now. And I call on each one of you to understand what TB stigma means in your country and act on it. Let us not use stigma as an excuse to not talk about TB. But instead, let us speak up. Use the political power in your hands to save the dignity and lives of people affected by tuberculosis. 12 years ago, stigma silenced me, but it will not anymore. I will continue to fight for a society where no one feels unworthy just because they have or had TB. And I urge you to join me in this fight. Thank you.